Quote of the week. Are you going through it or growing through it? Les Brown. Hi, welcome everybody. It's Jason Barlow, RMT, and I'm here today as your therapist, your coach, to help you transform any stress, tension, and pain that you might be experiencing into health, happiness, and vitality. This is a powerful quote if you take it on board and let it sink in your heart. Now, for it to sink into your heart, it's not just a matter of hearing it once, twice, 10 times, 100 times. I think we have to go north of 1,000 plus times to hear this, and not just hear it, because we then got to qualify the 1,000 times that we've heard it. Have we really understood the premise behind it? What's the foundation to this very quote that Les Brown shared through a YouTube video I was listening to a year ago? And on that note, that was my experience a year ago. I had a choice. I was either just going to have to go through it, or could I grow through it with the whole COVID process of shutting my business down? We had choices. We can choose to just roll with the punches and live it day by day, or we can have some kind of strategy and plan in place and use that opportunity in whatever capacity we can and that we choose to. Ultimately, it is our choice. I'm just sharing my experiences with you, and we can grow through it. So for me personally, this past year and a half has probably been substantial. I wish I could quantify it for you. Substantial growth is all I'll say on a personal, a business, and a spiritual level. Substantially, because I used this time. For example, a year ago, I was in the thick of, actually a year ago exactly, I was getting ready to launch my first book, the 15-Step Playbook for Pain Relief. For decades, well, okay, maybe over a decade. I'm not going to age myself too much too quickly, but certainly for a decade, I'd been talking, wishing to write a book. And that's important. We got to have those wishes. But I'll tell you, I'll be honest, over that 10-year span, I had a wish, but I also had a lot of thoughts attached to it of, what's the point? Nobody's going to read it anyway. What if you guys share with the world? There's nothing people want to hear from you. And even now, this past year coming on, I've been doing these podcasts, and I see these little numbers of views and listeners. And I've tackled those minds again of, what's the point? Nobody's listening. Nobody's watching this right now. Why am I doing this? And I do it for that one person, maybe eventually that second person, that fourth person, that eighth person. And I remember this was taught on a course I was listening in earlier this year of an air-sea rescue. If they're doing a rescue with a helicopter and there's a bunch of people in the water, how do you get rescued? And how do they decide who? Because they can't go collect 30 people straight away. They got to take one at a time, maybe two at a time. So how do they decide who they're going to rescue first? And it's based upon who it is that makes effort and starts to swim towards that line that's dropped down from the air rescue helicopter. And in the same regard, there are people right now who are interested, have some level of engagement, and they're tuning in. Awesome. If I had 0 people in this last year, I'd probably maybe it's time just to hang up the podcast idea. But I'm plowing on for 1, 2, 10. If it's a small number, I'm here. So what I'm sharing with you, this has been my own experiences, is I'm using these opportunities of adversity, right? I've been doing this nearly a year, and I have 1 or 2 people, maybe 5, sometimes 10. It's a real small number when I look at, my kids watch YouTubers all the time, and you see these millions of subscribers and millions of views. It's like, what am I doing wrong? Right? And then come in the doubtful thoughts, and we have to combat them, right? And that's only through my own personal mental training that I've learned methods to combat those thoughts, because those thoughts come up quick, with no effort. Have you noticed that? Those negative thoughts come up. There's no effort on our behalf. It's like we're a hair trigger of guilt. We're a hair trigger for deflation, self-deflation, sabotaging any thoughts and ideas that might actually propel us in a direction that we want to go. And I'm sharing this with you as a business owner, as a parent, as an athlete. I still label myself as an athlete, but somebody who loves to train and work out and perform. That regardless of where you are and regardless of your age and what aches and pains you currently have, This quote is exceedingly powerful of making a decision. Are you just going to continue to go through it? Or instead, are you going to look at this experience, whatever it is, whatever that looks like for you? And this is where we've got to personalize these quotes that I'm sharing with you every week, of what is it that I can look at, I can change my viewpoint so that I can have a growth mindset as opposed to this fixed mindset. So difficulties and problems are abound, and they're going to continue. I'm not trying to be Johnny Bring Me Down, as somebody shared a few weeks ago. I love that term. I'm not trying to be Johnny Bring Me Down. I'm trying to be Johnny Tell You Straight. we inevitably are going to experience challenges in life. No, we're all aging. We're all going to have some level of physical pain at some point, maybe some kind of disease. Like this is just the facts. Maybe some people are like, okay, I'm tuning off, and that's your choice. But if you just hang tight for another moment, I can give you a perspective to help change this. So generally speaking, when things are going well, we have a very clear idea of how to respond and react. We can be joyful and happy and light and, oh, the world is wonderful when things are going the way that we want them to. But a moment things don't go the way that we want them to, and I'm just thinking of my kids over the weekend, right? Life's going along just fine, and then parents step in and give them the chores that they need to do, which is no different from the day before, the weeks before, the months, the years before. Oh, and the drama that can arise because now they have to do something that they don't want to do. So it's all about making a choice. How can I view this differently? And this is just a recommendation. Take it with a pinch of salt, apply it and see if it works for you, or just don't apply it at all. It's a choice. But the question is, what is it that I can do to prepare for my adversity? Because there's two ways to succeed in the face of adversity, from my experience. One is, firstly, just remembering to expect them, right? Don't just think that when life's going well, that's it, great, wonderful, this is it for life. So expect adversity. And secondly is having a plan of action of how you are going to physically and mentally respond. When those adversities come, we have no idea what they are specifically, but let's just group all adversity under that umbrella of adversity. Stuff's not going our way. How are we going to respond when stuff doesn't go our way? We don't get what we want when we want it, in the way we wanted it. Our wishes are not being fulfilled, or they're fulfilled, but it seems short-lived. Like, just think of all those things in your life, because what I'm trying to share with you here is, in particular, is that very often your physical stress, tension, and pain is a manifestation of your emotional stress, tension, and pain that you might right now just be ignoring and neglecting, and your body is providing signs and symptoms, and you're still not paying attention. So it's going to keep providing more signs and symptoms. And this is an ongoing cycle for as long as you're ignoring the emotional manifestation of your physical pain. So why are we trying to do this? Why are we trying to have these two methods in place? Expect the adversities and have a plan of action, is because if you don't, you're just going to continue to react in the way that you've always reacted. And you've got to ask yourself, okay, how have I generally reacted to when things aren't going well in my life? How have I reacted mentally? How have I reacted physically? Does it make me feel uplifted and joyful even when things aren't going my way? Or do I feel despondent and heavy and depressed and unhappy and generally miserable? So we have to check this for ourselves. Now, depending upon which category you feel that you generally sit in, and I think the majority are over here in terms of the despondent and unhappy and miserable and dissatisfied and, lashing out at other people, feeling angry and agitated and anxious and depressed. If you fall into that category, is just understand that that's how you used to react. There is a way, it's a skill, it's something you can train. You can improve the way that you respond to those negativities. So for example, my negativity right now of my phone stand failing on me repeatedly whilst I'm trying to do this podcast. I could get really ticked off. I could. I could throw the phone across and see what that does. I could have all sorts of reactions that are in a negative context. But from my past experiences, and my mother might have a few more stories to share, is that the angry response never actually paid off. Maybe it discharged some energy at that particular point in time, but then I'd have to go clean up afterwards or repair a broken door. I'm a redhead, by the way, so I've had some pretty wild experiences, particularly as a child, as my mother would tell you, even into my teenage years. I'd say I started to get it definitely under more control after I started to understand where those feelings were actually coming from. See, ultimately, all our happiness, all our suffering is coming from a state of mind. There is no other causes beyond our mind experience. They're coming from our mind. We're experiencing them in the mind. And for as long as we point our finger to this phone stand being my trigger of my anger, I have a very distorted perspective, and I'm going to respond with anger because I'm not recognizing where the real problem is coming from. The real problem is not my phone stand, even though it's failing on me right now. The real problem is my response. If I choose to respond negatively, it's my response that is not serving me. Because things fail, things fall down, we break things and so forth. That's inevitable. These are the adversities of life, but we don't have to go with them. I love Les Brown for so many quotes. If things go wrong, don't go with them. Powerful. So what I'm sharing with you today is I just want you to have these key words in your mind. Let them sink into your heart. Contemplate them. Think about some of the reasonings I'm sharing with you. Because if you continue to do the things you've always done, you will always continue to get the things that you've always gotten. And if you're trying to get more health, happiness, and vitality, I implore you, I share with you, I'm trying to coach you that by changing the way that you look at things, the way things look will change. And now you have a different perspective. And instead of going down the road of negativity, you can instead go down the road of positivity. And then this is the magical part of it, is it doesn't matter then. If things are going well, you know how to respond because we know how to respond when things are going well. And if things are going badly, great. We know how to respond to those negative situations now. Well, we label them negative. It's just our mind giving it that label. I hope you found that of benefit. Remember the quote here. Are you going through it or growing through it? And it's your choice. And through training, you can actually improve the way that you respond instead of react to challenges and problems in your life. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you found that benefit. Remember, go to my website swiftly, get my book because it's coming. I'm going to be removing it and I'll just be able to give you a free chapter. I'm going to be offering a course with it and look out for that coming in this next month. I'm going to commit myself and thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Farewell. Bye-bye.